All right, today we are going to finish out our review sheet. We're going to go through problems number 61 through 70. Remember, when you come to your actual midterm exam, you do need to turn in your review sheet. So please make sure if you get an answer wrong, you erase it and fix it so that you understand how to do it for your actual exam. Let's talk about the first one. It asks us to write the percent as a decimal. Adam, where is the imaginary decimal point on 28%?
Behind the 8.
It is behind the 8. So what do I need to do with that decimal point?
Move it to the left 2 times.
Very good. And what's your answer?
0.28.
0.28 is correct. All right, Adam, if you would bump it off for someone to help us with question number 62. All right, Christopher, write the fraction as a decimal. How do I figure out what 7/8 would be as a decimal?
First you divide it.
You just divide it. Very good. Okay, remember that fraction bar right there? It simply means to divide. Christopher, what is 7 divided by 8?
8.75.
0.875 is correct. All right, so that is our answer. Christopher, if you would bump it off for someone to help me with question 63.
Caleb.
All right, Caleb, write that decimal as a percent. How do I change 0.07 to being a percent?
That's 7%.
Correct. All we have to do is move that 2 places to the right, and you do get that that is 7%. All right, Heather, help us with the first one. What is the percent equation? P times of equals is. Very good. Bump it off for someone to tell us what the percent proportion is. All right, Zariana, what you got? Percent proportion.
Is over of equal P over 100.
Very good. Bump it off for someone to help us with the percent of change. All right, Kyla, percent of change formula.
Amount of increase or decrease over original amount.
Okay, very good. So we're just going to say the amount of change over the original amount, or the original. Okay, Kyla, bump it off for someone to help us with the percent of error.
Amount of error divided by actual amount.
You are correct. It's the amount of error divided by the actual amount. Now you're going to want to know these 4 different formulas on your midterm, so please make sure you know the difference between those 4.
I got this one right.
Okay, so let's talk about the next one. Use the percent equation to solve. Kaylin, what is the percent equation? We just wrote it down.
Oh, yeah. Percent equation. Oh, that one was the P times of equals is.
Very good. So when we have problems like this, and we did this back in chapter 6, if you don't remember how to do this, this was 6.3.
Oh, that's
All right, so you can write that beside it if you want to go back through and study those notes. We're going to underline and circle the original problem. What percent of 95 is 76? All right, Kaylin, do you know your P?
No.
No, we do not. So we're just going to keep it as a P. Do you know your of?
Yes.
Yes.
95.
Very good. So we're going to multiply it times 95. And do you know your is?
Yeah, it's 76.
76. How do we get that P by itself?
One second.
1 second.
We're trying to get rid of this
Oh,
multiply
yeah.
by 95.
Divide by 95 on both sides.
Very good. We're going to do it on both sides so that we can be fair. And what do you get?
1.25.
Okay, she said 1.25. Listen, if you did 1.25, you took 95 and then you divided it by 76. You want to do 76 divided by 95, okay? Which is a simple mistake, but you always want to take the top number and divide it by the bottom number.
0.8.
0.8. Now, is that a percent?
No, 0.8.
0.8. Oh, you gotta move it twice. So it's 80%.
You are correct. You move it 2 times to the right, so the correct answer would be 80%. All right, Christopher, we are still going to use the percent equation. So what is the percent equation?
P times of equals is.
Very good. Now, if you did this with the percent proportion, is over of equals P over 100, you would still get the same exact answer. So I'm just showing you a couple different ways that you can do it. Christopher, would you underline and circle the 3 separate parts, the is, the of, and the P?
Define what number is.
That's my is.
Circle 40%.
That's the P.
Underline
underline of 22.
Very good. All right, so now let's just start plugging some things in. What's our P?
40%.
40%, but you have to change that 40% to a what?
Decimal.
Decimal. If you don't remember that, maybe write yourself a little note on the side so that when you're studying, you can remember change to a decimal. This is only with the percent equation, not the percent proportion. Okay, back to Christopher. So what are we going to change that to?
40.
Okay, 0.40 or 0.4, either one's fine. What's my of?
22.
Times 22. What's my is?
We don't know.
We don't know it, so we'll just put it as an x. All right, so Christopher, what's the answer?
8.8.
8.8. Should I change that to a percent?
No.
No, if I go back through, it says what number is. So we're just looking for a number. The number is 8.8. The next instructions ask us to use the percent proportion to solve. Lexi, what is the percent proportion?
It's just the dividing one. I don't know.
Yes, look back in your notes. Look back at your notes, number 64. What's it say the percent proportion is?
Is over of divided by P over 100.
Is over of equals P over 100. All right, would you circle and underline the original problem?
What number is underline that, and then circle 28%, and then underline of 25.
Okay, what's my is?
X,
X, because we don't know it. What's my of?
25,
What's my P?
28.
Okay, now 28 over 100 means 28%, so I am not going to put a decimal point there saying 0.28, because 28 over 100 means 28%, okay? Which method would you like to use to solve this?
Cross.
All right, she wants to use cross products, which is fine. You could also do mental math for this specific one, but we will do cross products. So what do?
I did x times 100 equals 100x, and then I did 28 times 25, which is 700, and then I divided on both sides and got x equals 7.
All right, is there any way to check to see if x equals 7 is correct? Caleb, how would I check that?
So if you take 25 and multiply it by 4, that's 100. But if you take 7 and multiply it by 4, that's 28.
Okay, so he did a little bit of mental math, which is totally fine. Okay, so yes, in that case, you would have seen that that was the correct answer. All right, Lexi, bump it off. All right, Zion, we know that the equation we're using is over of equals P over 100. Tell me what to underline and circle. We're just working from left to right, so 20%. Of what number?
35.
Very good. What's my is?
35.
What's my of?
Don't know.
We don't know it, so we'll put an X. What's my P?
20%.
Okay, so we're going to say 20 over 100. Zion, what do I do next?
You.
Which method would you like to use?
Cross.
Let's use cross products. Okay, so we're going to circle the ones that are diagonal. What do I do?
But 20x on the side. And then put 35 times 100.
Very good. What is 35 times 100?
3,500.
3,500. How do I get that X by itself?
Divide by 20 on both sides.
Okay, and when you do that, what do you get?
Get x by itself and 17.5.
Not 17.5. You got to make sure that this one said 3,500.
Yeah,
What'd you get?
175.
175.
I think I still had the one
Okay, so for this modeling real life problem, if you do not remember how to do something like this, I want you to write this to the side of it. This was in 6.3, okay, so you can go back through and see examples in there. The problem says that you go to Cracker Barrel and you purchase a meal for $13. If the tax is going to be 7%, how much is your total bill? Here is a formula you can use. You could use P times of equals is. You could also use is over of equals P over 100. It doesn't matter either way. But let's talk about the P. Kyla, do we know what, well actually before we do that, one of these, the of and the is the part and the whole. I want you to, if you have not written this down yet, put a little arrow just to remind yourself. The of stands for the whole amount that you pay. All right? The is stands for the part that we are looking for. So if you don't have this written in your notes, I'd like you to write that formula down and then just put little arrows to the part and the whole.
I got mine.
So Kyla, let's talk about the P. What does the P stand for?
Percent.
What is our percent?
7%.
7%. So what do I have to do to that 7%?
You need to take the percent and move it 2 times the left.
Okay, we're going to change it to a decimal. And what do you get when you do that? 0.07. Very good. Next up, we're doing P times of. Of is the whole amount that we need to pay. Kyla, how much was your meal?
$13.
$13, okay? So you could see we're going to multiply that times $13. If we do that, we are going to find the part that we need to pay for tax. Kyla, what's the part you need to pay for tax? 0.07 times 13. 0.91. As far as money goes, what does 0.91 mean? 91 cents, okay? This right here, guys, that's your tax. Here's what happens on the exam. Many people, one of the examples would have been 91 cents as a choice. If I go back to my original problem and it says, how much is your total bill? Guys, is my total bill 91 cents? No. Kyla, how do I find what my total bill would be?
You add $13.91.
When you add the two together, what do you get?
$13.91.
$13.91 is the correct answer for how much your total bill was.
Yeah.
All right, let's look at the final problem for today. Dr. Kinder goes to the cafe to buy a coffee for $5.10. If he leaves a 20% tip, what is his total bill? I want to come up with some options that this could be because remember our exam is going to be a multiple choice exam. So, all right, so I've just given you 3 options. On your exam, you're going to have 4, but for today, I'm just going to give you 3 options here, okay? So once again, we can do P times of equals is. What is the part and what is the whole? Is the of the part or the whole?
The whole.
It is the whole amount. What is the is? It's the part. That's going to be the amount that he leaves as a tip. Kaylin, do we know our P? Do we know our percent?
No. The percent is 20.
Okay, so I've got to change 20% to a
Yes.
decimal, which would be
0.2.
0.20, okay? Times of, times the whole amount he paid for the coffee. What did he pay for the coffee? $5.10. When you multiply that together, that's going to give you our is, which is the part that he paid for his tip. What did you get when you did that? Zion, what'd you get?
I got $1.02.
$1.02.
And then you gotta add that.
Hold on. Some people see that on their exam and then they say, oh, there it is. The answer's B. Here's why I, as a teacher, would suggest to you, cover up all the options and think through it and then check your answer. Guys, would it make sense for his total bill to get a coffee to be $1.02? No. What is the $1.02 standing for?
Same for the tip.
That's the tip. That's how much he paid extra to be kind to the barista. Okay? Back to Kaylin. How do I figure out what the total bill is going to be?
You add $1 and you add 1.02.
$1.02. And when you do that, what do you get?
6.12.
You get $6.12. Okay? Do you see that answer over there?
That's when you got 1 piece straight.
Yes.
Yes, A.
$6.12 is the actual amount. Was there anyone who did this with the percent proportion? Because if you did it that way, you also could have gotten the same exact answer. All right, are there any questions about number 70? Fantastic. Good luck on your midterm. Happy studying, and I will see you all for your exam later this week.
Classes over?